Our next guest, Dr. Rick Brinkman, actually has the tips that will help you to survive a visit from your family. He's co-author of Dealing with Relatives, Even If You Can't Stand Them. Welcome, Dr. Rick.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, why exactly is it so much more difficult to deal with relatives than just any old visitors?
Yeah, there's three special things about relatives. Number one, you didn't choose them. Then another thing that makes a relative exceptionally tough is they're willing to cross a boundary that no one else in your life, not even a really close friend, would cross. And then the third thing is that you have these associations, you know, like you hear a song and it takes you back, or you smell something, you're transported through time. Well, people are associations. I mean, you said how all of a sudden with your brother, and suddenly your mother's telling you about what you guys did when you were 11, and bam, you're just back there. And so you could be a competent adult with great communication skills and coping skills, and suddenly you're in the presence of immediate family. You become a babbling 7-year-old.
Okay, so you classify relatives in 4 categories based on their annoying behaviors. So let's talk a little bit about the martyr.
Let's say your relative's visiting you and you want to go work out, and all of a sudden the martyr is going to be like, well, that's fine, work out. Just because I give up everything I do when you come to visit doesn't mean you have to do that with me.
This is horrible.
Yeah, it is. It's the guilt trip travel agency.
Okay, let's talk about another category of people you have, the general.
The general. Now, this is a person who's in command. They're going to just take over everything. They think their family is their own personal platoon. I mean, for example, one adult daughter told us that her general mother was actually telling her how to back out of the driveway, controlling every bit of the car experience. And, you know, of course, this woman's been driving for 20 years. And she finally said to the general, well, you know, I appreciate that you care about our safety as a family, and I care about that too. So now they're on the same page with a positive intent. But by having you talking while I'm driving, it's really distracting to our safety.
My mom can be the general.
Really?
Yes, she can be the general. I can see that. And then the last one is the judge.
Oh, the judge. This is oh, are you wearing that outfit again? Don't you think that makes you look a little fat?
That's my mother. When we get back, we're going to talk to Dr. Rick about how to get them to mind their own business. Don't go away.
Next, does a visit from your relatives drive you crazy? Cynthia's got the secrets for staying serene, and she'll share them with you. Then she's starring in a new series and expecting her perfect.
Welcome back. We are talking with Dr. Rick Brinkman, the author of Dealing with Relatives, Even If You Can't Stand Them. And he's been telling us how to cope with all the different types of difficult relatives that might be in our lives. Well, the ladies are in the audience and they're ready to get some questions. But before we do that, Dr. Rick, can you tell us about the relative known as the meddler?
The meddler, you are. They're kind of a combination of a judge and a general together in that they judge and they see you're not being appropriate, and then they just meddle in and take charge. So if they don't like the way you're dressing, they say, let's go shopping right now.
Oh, my goodness.
If they don't like who you're dating, they'll say, well, I've set you up tomorrow.
Lynn?
I have a question from me and then from Amber. Dr. Rick, my mother, whenever she comes to town from Virginia, if I leave her alone in my apartment in the city, here in New York, she tells all my neighbors secret things about me, and even homeless people. Like, I will come home, and they're like, how was that date last night? And I'm like, okay, why did the man that I just gave $1 to know about me dating? How do I make this stop? She does it all the time.
Well, if we think on a level of positive intent, so it sounds like your mother is making a connection with people, and yes, and possibly there's some pride in a daughter. So we want to appreciate that she wants to connect, but maybe offer her some subjects that she could talk about that you'd be okay with.
So just screaming, stop it or I'll put you in a home is wrong?
No, that wouldn't.
So this is sweet Amber, who has a very good question. Go ahead, Amber.
Okay, I want to know how to deal with the men in my family who can't control their bodily functions, especially when my boyfriend is around.
Well, you might want to approach it with humor when your boyfriend comes over and say, let me introduce you to the Fart Club here. Brother 1, brother 2. Go ahead. Get it out of your system. Now, if you bring it up before they do, see, they may be doing it because they like to needle you. So part of it.
They said they do it on purpose.
All right.
And they almost have contests.
If you can't be gotten by them doing it, then you kind of defeat their behavior.
So give us some quick tips that we can take into the holiday season with us about dealing with these people.
The first thing is to know how much you can take. You know, geography, frequency, and time. How close or far do you need to live to somebody? often is okay to see them, and then when you do see them, what's that sweet spot? You know, I know a daughter and a grandmother combination that if you keep them in a 3-day window, it is a love fest. But if you go past that 3 days, the grandmother starts getting controlling, the daughter is unwilling to be controlled by anyone, and they start getting at odds. But if you stay within that window, you set up a positive momentum.
Okay.
Second tip is you got to change your automatic reactions. You are not the victim of your triggers. They're all subject to change at your notice. It's just a matter of deciding what you want, mentally rehearsing it, so you build another switch in the road.
Okay.
And then last but not least is to be positive. Project positive on people. You know, think about where they might be coming from. And when you project positive on people, you bring out the best in them.
All right. Thank you.
My pleasure.
That's great advice. Thank you. Okay, you guys, we will be right back. Good luck.